Liberalism, the live and let live squad. Liberalism is all about freedom, baby. Think free speech, free markets, and free Wi-Fi. Okay, maybe not the last one. Liberals believe in individual rights, limited government, and the idea that you should be able to do whatever you want as long as you're not hurting anyone. It's like the political version of you do you. But don't confuse them with leftists. Liberals still love capitalism, they just want it with a side of human rights. Also, they're the reason you can complain about the government without getting thrown in jail. You're welcome. Conservatism, the back in my day crew. Conservatives are all about tradition, stability, and making sure things don't change too fast. They're the ones saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, while sipping tea and reminiscing about the good old days. They love small government, strong families, and keeping taxes low, unless it's for the military, then spend away. Conservatives are like that grandparent who insists on keeping their 30-year-old car because they don't make them like this anymore. Nostalgic? Yes. Practical? Debatable. Socialism, the share the wealth gang. Socialists believe wealth should be distributed more equally, and they're not afraid to tax the rich to make it happen. Think of it as the political version of splitting the bill at dinner, but on a societal scale. They want free healthcare, free education, and free hugs. Okay, critics say it's unrealistic, but socialists argue that no one should have to choose between rent and insulin. Fair point. Just don't call them communists. They'll correct you faster than you can say means of production. Communism, the no private property, please squads. Communism takes socialism to the next level. Imagine a world where everything is owned collectively and there's no such thing as private property. Sounds great in theory, but in practice, it's led to some interesting outcomes. Communists believe in a classless society where everyone works for the common good. The problem? Human nature. Turns out people kind of like owning stuff. Still, it's a nice idea, like world peace or a calorie-free pizza. Capitalism, the money makes the world go round crew. Capitalism is all about the free market, competition, and making that cash. It's the ideology that says if you work hard, you can be a billionaire. Spoiler, most of us won't be. Capitalism is great for innovation and creating wealth, but it's also the reason your avocado toast costs $15. Critics say it leads to inequality, but capitalists argue that it's the best system we've got. After all, where else can you buy a gold-plated toilet seat? Fascism, the my way or the highway gang. Fascism is the political equivalent of a toxic relationship. It's all about authoritarian control, nationalism, and crushing anyone who disagrees. Fascists love strong leaders, military power, and blaming all their problems on outsiders. While it's not a popular ideology, it has a long and troubling history. The upside? There isn't one. The downside? It's catastrophic. History has shown time and again that fascism leads to oppression, violence, and devastation. Let's just say it's a chapter humanity should never revisit. Anarchism, the no rules, no problem squad. Anarchists believe in a world without government, laws, or authority. It's like Mad Max, but with more philosophy and fewer flamethrower guitars. They argue that people can organize themselves without being told what to do. Sounds great, right? Well, until someone steals your Wi-Fi. Anarchism is the ultimate live free or die ideology, but it's also the reason your local anarchist book club can't agree on a meeting time. Libertarianism, the don't tread on me crew. Libertarians are like liberals on steroids. They want maximum freedom and minimum government, like minimum. Think no taxes, no regulations, and no speed limits. They believe the market will solve everything, from healthcare to climate change. Critics say it's naive, but libertarians argue that if you want something done, do it yourself. Just don't ask them to pay for your roads. Environmentalism, the save the planet gang. Environmentalists are the ones reminding you to recycle, go vegan, and stop using plastic straws. They believe the earth is in crisis, and it's our job to fix it. Whether it's fighting climate change or protecting endangered species, they're all about sustainability. Critics call them tree huggers, but let's be real, someone's got to hug the trees. Also, they're the reason your car has emission standards. You're welcome again. Feminism, the equal rights, equal fight squad. Feminism is all about gender equality. It's not about hating men, despite what some people think. It's about making sure everyone gets a fair shot regardless of gender. Feminists have fought for everything from voting rights to equal pay, and they're not done yet. Critics say they're too radical, but feminists argue that equality shouldn't be radical. They're also the reason you can't catcall someone without facing backlash. That's progress. Nationalism, the my country, right or wrong crew. Nationalists are all about putting their country first. They love their flag, their anthem, and their borders. It's patriotism, but with an extra dose of we're number one and everyone else can go elsewhere. Nationalists believe their country is the best and they're not afraid to say it loudly. Critics say it leads to xenophobia, but nationalists argue that it's just pride. Either way, it's the reason your uncle won't stop talking about the good old days. Populism, the tell them what they want to hear crew. Populists are the politicians who act like your best friend at a party, telling you exactly what you want to hear, whether it's true or not. They claim to represent the people against the elites, which usually means blaming everything on some mysterious, out-of-touch group controlling everything. Populists come in all political flavors, left-wing, right-wing, and occasionally the whatever gets me elected wing. The best way to spot one, they're usually the loudest person in the room and their speeches sound like a mix of a TED Talk and a WWE promo. Monarchism, the long live the king or queen club. Monarchists believe the best way to run a country is to have a king or queen calling the shots. No elections, no debates, just one person sitting on a fancy chair making all the decisions. Sounds outdated, but hey, some people love tradition and tiaras. Monarchists argue that a stable ruler is better than messy democracy, while critics say it's just a fancy way of keeping power in the family. Either way, it's the reason we still have royal weddings to gossip about. Paleoconservatism, the Make Tradition Great Again Club. Paleoconservatives are old school conservatives. They're not just about keeping things the same. They want to take things way back, think traditional values, isolationist foreign policies, and a general distrust of modern trends. They believe society has drifted too far from its roots and want to hit the rewind button. If they had a time machine, they'd probably go back to the 1800s and stay there. Theocracy, the God said so party. Theocrats believe religion and government should be best friends, or more accurately, that religion should be the government. Think of it as a divine monarchy where laws aren't just made by people, but backed up with a higher authority. The upside? Strong moral guidance. The downside? If you don't like the rules, your only appeal might be to the heavens. Historically, theocracies have been great at enforcing strict rules, but not so great at letting people watch whatever they want on Netflix. Eco-anarchism, the burn the government, not the forest squad. Eco-anarchists combine environmentalism with anarchism. They want to get rid of both governments and capitalism to create a society that lives in harmony with nature. Picture a world where there's no pollution, no bosses, and no taxes. Just sustainable farming, renewable energy, and lots of community meetings about composting. The only downside, you'll probably have to give up your air conditioning. Anarcho-primitivism, the Back to the Stone Age movement. These folks believe civilization itself was a mistake. They think modern society, technology, government, capitalism, everything has made people miserable. Their solution? Dismantle it all and go back to living in small, self-sufficient tribes. Imagine life without cities, factories, or even farming. Just people surviving in nature. Sounds peaceful until winter comes.